Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, Trelawny taxi operator stabbed to death in dispute over seating. A dispute over seating arrangements turned deadly on Thursday night when a 34-year-old taxi operator was fatally stabbed on Thorpe Street in Falmouth. The deceased has been identified as Stephen Morris of Duncan's Hill in Trelawny. Superintendent Ainsley McCarthy, officer in charge of the Trelawny Police Division, told the news that the incident occurred around 8 p.m. There was a confrontation between Morris and the perpetrator over seating arrangements. A ratchet knife was brought into the confrontation and Morris was stabbed in the abdomen. He was taken to the Falmouth Hospital where he was pronounced dead, McCarthy said. The alleged attacker, whose identity has not yet been released, was reportedly mobbed by onlookers following the incident. He sustained the injuries, was treated at hospital, and subsequently released into police custody. He remains in custody pending further investigations. Superintendent McCarthy noted that Morris's death brings the parish's murder count since the start of the year to 6. The murder count, when compared to 2024 at the same time, shows a 50% decrease. We are happy that there is a decrease, but even one murder is one too many, he said. Farmer repels attempted goat theft in St. Catherine. A group of would-be goat thieves were forced to flee empty-handed on Friday after a licensed firearm holder confronted them during a brazen attempt to raid his farm in St. Catherine. The owner of the goat farm securely locked his pen but was alerted by unusual sounds shortly about 10:20 a.m., reports say. Upon investigating, he discovered the enclosure's lock had been tampered with. As he entered to make checks, he was allegedly ambushed by 3 men, one reportedly armed with a handgun, who instructed him, "Don't move." Acting swiftly, the farmer flung himself to the ground, drew his licensed firearm, and opened fire at the intruders. The men returned the fire before fleeing into nearby bushes. The St. Catherine North Police have launched an investigation into the incident. Off-duty cop shoots a taxi operator in St. Catherine, Indicom probing. Investigations are underway into the shooting of a 29-year-old taxi operator by an off-duty policeman during a reported confrontation in Gutters, St. Catherine on Friday. The incident reportedly happened at about 12:30 p.m. It is alleged that the taxi operator and the policeman became involved in a physical altercation when the officer allegedly discharged his firearm, shooting the man. The injured taxi operator was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital where he was admitted for treatment. Both the Independent Commission of Investigations and the Police's Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau are probing the incident. Police witnesses' absence pushes Kahal Yahweh trial to July 29. The ongoing trial of 16 members of the controversial Kahal Yahweh religious organization for breaches of the Child Care and Protection Act and the Education Act has been put off for continuation on July 29 because of the absence of the prosecution's anticipated final witness on Friday. The witness in question, who is the investigating officer in the case, was expected to appear in the St. James Parish Court on Friday to testify in the trial of defendants Christopher Anderson, Omar Thompson, Javon Thompson, Nikisha Harding, Derek Clark, Rona Lee Maitland, Alisa Meadley, Fabian Nelson, Francine Paris, Jordan Spence, Joseph Hoskin, Oral Spence, Rayon Letman, Ingrid Williams, Vera Woolery, and Melisha Thompson. However, when the matter was called up before presiding trial judge Keisha Grant Price, the clerk of the court revealed that the officer was absent from court because of illness. Following that update and additional discussions, Grant Price set the trial for continuation on July 29, with the matter being expected to roll over into July 30 as well. The investigating officer, I suspect, is the last witness for the Crown, and they have indicated to me this morning that the investigating officer is unwell, and we can all appreciate unwell. With that, the matter is adjourned for another date, and on that date, I expect that all of you will be here and present. Your bails are extended for you to return to this court on July 29 for continuation of this matter. Grant Price addressed the defendants before allowing them to leave the courtroom. The court also ordered a fresh subpoena for the investigating officer to attend the court on July 29 after having issued one for him when the trial was last held on May 16. The 16 Kahal Yahweh members, who are all represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny, were arrested and charged following a police raid at the Kahal Yahweh compound in Paradise, Norwood, St. James on June 30, 2023. That raid was a follow-up to an earlier operation on June 7, 2023, in which 23 children, ages 1 to 17 years at the time, were removed from the compound. Since the start of the 16 defendants' trial on April 8, 2024, the court has heard evidence from at least 5 prosecution witnesses, to include a former member of the Kahal Yahweh group, 3 officers from the Child Protection and the Family Services Agency, and an assistant registrar at the Ministry of Education's Independent Schools Branch. The Kahal Yahweh group was previously thrust into the spotlight in 2019 when the police removed the 6 children, including a pregnant 16-year-old, from the compound. At that time, the church was under investigation concerning allegations that the group was conducting child marriages as well as being involved in human trafficking, abduction, child abuse, and sexual assault. Jamaica Council of Churches warns against removing Auditor General from Integrity Commission. The Jamaica Council of Churches is warning that removing the Auditor General from the Integrity Commission risks weakening Jamaica's anti-corruption oversight framework. In a statement issued Friday, the influential church group said the proposal to excise the Auditor General from the Commission does not appear to comport with good governance and good reason, particularly amid incomplete and unresolved investigations. To change the composition of the Integrity Commission in midstream appears to be disingenuous and may call into question the integrity and motivation of this intention, the JCC declared. At a meeting of the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act on Wednesday, governmental lawmakers voted to remove the Auditor General from the Commission. They argued that, as the Commission receives an annual budget of $2 billion, it should fall under the Auditor General's oversight and do not include that office within its own ranks. 2 opposition lawmakers objected to the move. A final decision will be made through votes in both houses. The JCC argued that the Integrity Commission plays a vital role in Jamaica's development, international reputation, and the efforts to break with a past marred by corruption. We admonish the government, therefore, to recant from the reported course of removing the Auditor General from the Integrity Commission, the group said. The JCC said the current composition of the Commission has helped to reinforce accountability, largely due to the long-standing inclusion of the Auditor General, who it said has played a crucial role in financial oversight for more than 5 decades across both the current and the former iterations of the Commission. There is an important moral argument to be made for the contribution of the Auditor General in the work of the Integrity Commission, the statement continued. This office turns the keys of financial probity in the work of the Integrity Commission and provides the required and particular capacities for the examination of the serious issues that our nation's anti-corruption agenda demands. In that context, the JCC said the absence of any actual instances of conflicts of interest undermines the legitimacy of the concerns raised by government lawmakers. The church group also said it is awaiting more substantial reasoning from the parliamentary opposition regarding their support for the Auditor General's continued inclusion on the Commission. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.